Good morning. It's 8:41. It's Robert J. Wright and Aaron McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Keel app, free to download from Office Furniture Source. It sounds awesome. Joining us for a little bit is Shreveport Police Chief Alan Crump. Chief Alan, welcome to Keel. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine this morning. Hope you all are doing the same.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Big meeting yesterday. There was the state police and the sheriff's department, Shreveport police, city marshal, a councilman, a whole bunch of politicians in the room. What was that meeting about, and was any conclusion reached?
Well, the meeting was, of course, a parish commission assembly, and it was their long-range planning meeting to still discuss the collaboration between the police department and the sheriff's department. So I think we did, at least from my standpoint, I believe that we confirmed that, because we have been working together. We are continuing to work together. And we spoke briefly about the warrants operation that was conducted for a couple of days between the sheriff's department, police department, city marshal's office, state police, probation, and parole, and gave some of the numbers on those two operations, and just to hear the concerns from some of the council members relative to their constituents, and to try to answer those questions to the best of our ability. But I think we did. You would have to talk to some of the other members there to get their opinion. But I believe we at least confirmed that we are working together, and I did get a chance to share some of the operations that we've been running probably since early March that some of the commission members were not aware of, and some of the figures that arrest-wise and warrants served, things came from those operations. So
excuse me, Chief, just a second. We had Sheriff Prater on earlier this morning, and to paraphrase, the sense we got from him was that yesterday's meeting was his time could have been better spent. Why do you think he says that?
I don't know. You would have to ask him. You asked me what I thought, and that's what I shared. I can't speak on why Sheriff Prater said what he said.
But in your mind, pardon me again, there was no sense of conflict or frustration between the two of you at yesterday's meeting.
No, there was no conflict between myself and the sheriff, and not to be out of place, but he did not speak at that meeting. He was present, but he didn't speak. So I'll leave that there.
Chief, the media is all reporting today that essentially at the meeting it came out that you don't need their help. Explain what you mean by that.
No.
You don't need the money. Is that what it really is?
No. Listen to me.
Okay.
Last year, the Mayor Tyler and the City Council gave the Shreveport Police Department $150,000 to run overtime operations. Mm-hmm. In this year's budget, the mayor and the council allotted us $300,000 to run overtime operations, which we have been doing, collaborating from Operation Long Haul that we started last year, and many operations we've ran as an offshoot of Long Haul, in addition to the most current operation that we're running right now called Darkness Falls. Now, I can't speak about what the parish may need to give to the sheriff's department, anything like that. That's not my place to discuss those issues. So whatever is being alluded to there by the sheriff or anyone else relative to the parish, y'all would have to continue to pose those questions to them. But as it relates to the Shreveport Police Department, our administration, our council has given us, I believe, what we need for the time being to do our operations. So I don't understand where whatever confusion is arising. I never asked the council for any money.
Well, the commission.
I would be out of place to do that anyway. Right. I work for the city of Shreveport.
The mayor a couple of weeks ago at the city council meeting said, and I'm almost quoting her, she when you were not at the other meeting, and she was questioned about that, she said, let me make it real clear to you. The chief and his people are working with the sheriff and his people behind the scenes on a plan to fight crime in the city. We asked the sheriff this morning, are you working on a plan? He said no. Do we have a plan in place? Do we need a plan in place to fight crime in Shreveport?
So I don't know about semantics or if there's a stretched definition of plan. As this initially started from a request of two city council members that the police department and the sheriff's department work together, and the initial effort was which was brought up again in the meeting yesterday, that the sight of cars, marked units other than Shreveport police driving through neighborhoods in Shreveport. Well, I think Sheriff Prater was clear in an interview he had that, at least I read an article in the Shreveport Sun, and I'll just leave that there relative to patrolling. But he also said in an article that we do work together. We continue to work together. Some of the operations we can make public, some of the operations we cannot. So as it relates to a plan, maybe each person that says that has a different thought. But our agencies have been communicating. That's how the warrants operation came to fruition as a result of members of the Shreveport Police Department and members of the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department working together to come up with what was believed to be the best thing to approach some of the issues we face in the city limits of Shreveport.
Talking to Shreveport Police Chief Alan Crump. Chief, my phone's been blowing up all morning from police officers. They're upset. They're hurt. They feel like their hands are tied. And then they send me numbers. They're saying we have 500 police officers in the city of Shreveport, and only 170 or so are actually assigned to patrol. Have you looked at those numbers? Can you make changes to put more of those guys and gals on the street in our neighborhoods?
Well, we assess our manpower and allocate our strength. But they also, I would assume that some of those officers fail to tell you, give you a ballpark figure of officers that are on sick leave, which they are allotted under civil service. We are allotted 52 weeks in a year. And if the doctor, that individual's doctor so acknowledges, that time could very well be extended. Sometimes people exhaust large numbers of sick leave, come back to work, and then go out sick again.
But are more than half of your officers on desk jobs?
No, and I don't know. I don't understand what your point is, or whatever officers that are writing in to you, trying to. It seems like everybody's trying to create some type of confusion, some type of disarray, and if everybody, I believe, would just be honest, a lot of the confusion, a lot of the nonsense would not even be there. So I'm not going to try to answer you specifically right now based off of what you're saying somebody else has said to you. So police officers do a lot of things. It was said in the commission meeting yesterday that a police officer shared with one of the commission members that we need more equipment. We've purchased cars. We have equipment. So now, what does that mean? That could be very broad. What is he talking about? Is he talking about cameras? Is he talking about body mics? Is he talking about drones? Equipment is a broad term, but that's what the commissioner said the officer said. Is that true? Yeah, we can always get more equipment to do certain things, but a large sum of money has been spent to get brand new cars, the computers that are in the cars, the body mics, the cameras. We try to do as much as we can according to the budget that we have to operate with. And sometimes it seems that when people speak certain things, they just do it because that's what they see as a need, but those things cost money.
So, pardon me, Chief, so just to clarify, you don't want to comment at all on the numbers about Shreveport officers on the streets as opposed to desk jobs. You have no comment on what the numbers Aaron just mentioned.
I've said what I'm going to say right now.
Do the allegations that police officers' hands are tied, in that one specific item was they can no longer chase suspects. Can you respond to that? Because that's a rumor going around town that, criminals know y'all aren't going to chase them, so they just run. Is that accurate?
So let me ask you this before I answer that. What do they mean? Are they saying foot chases or vehicular chases?
Vehicular chases.
Well, there's a certain level of liability that is nationwide, and so if the safety factors or the lack thereof outweigh the particular infraction, then you don't chase somebody through a residential neighborhood of 15 or 20 miles per hour speed zone, driving 60 and 70 because somebody ran a stop sign and you hadn't determined any other greater violation. So there are dynamics, there are rules and regulations, there are policies that we have in place that govern chases, and those officers should know that, because when we receive policies, when we do policy upgrades, every officer gets that, and it is that officer's responsibility to make his or herself aware of the policy. Now, if they get in a foot chase, and if they can catch that individual, then good. But to endanger not only the officer's life, even the person we are pursuing, but when we put the public in danger of receiving harm, then we have to look at the best way to continue to do our jobs in a safe fashion. Many, not only in Shreveport, many major accidents, many people have been injured as a result of accidents relative to vehicle chases. So,
Chief, based on yesterday's meeting, and I guess the standing offer from the Sheriff's Department, Caddo Sheriffs, to assist, do you have in your own mind, or maybe in conversing with Mayor Tyler, a time frame for making a decision on that offer?
Okay, what offer? So let me ask you this. The fact that we are working together on the warrants operation, is that not assisting?
Well, actually, I think the phrase Sheriff Prater used this morning, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, was all we're working on is the warrants operation.
And those are temporary. He called it temporary.
Okay. So then the article that, I don't know what group the sheriff spoke to, but I read an article in the Shreveport Sun, and I think he expressed his feelings relative to the capabilities of his agency. I think he did a good job with that. So I don't understand why you're still asking me a question about something he said relative to his own agency.
Let me ask you something I asked him, and you tell me if it's on base or off base. I said, Sheriff, if the chief came to you today and said, can you give me 10 patrol officers to patrol the city of Shreveport between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m., could you do it? He said yes. And I ask you today, would that help? Could that help?
I'm not getting drawn into that, Aaron. Sheriff Prater made clear in a news article. You ought to read it if you hadn't.
I did. He told us one officer wouldn't help.
That's not what that article said.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get into that. And I think that we're working, we're communicating. If that's not true, then maybe that need to be said in a more clear fashion that we are not communicating, and maybe we can try to fix that. But
okay. So you think we're adequately staffed? We don't need his officers to come to help patrol the city.
We are working together. Now,
okay.
I keep answering.
I know.
Okay.
I get you. I thank you for your candor. I know it's a tough time for you, and everybody's pulling and pushing on you. I thank you for your time, Chief, and I hope we'll do it again. Thanks.
You're welcome.
856, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Brandon's here.
No major traffic accidents to report at this time in the Shreveport-Bossier City area, but be on the lookout. If that changes, make sure you let us know by calling us on the Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, partly to mostly sunny and hot today. A high 98 will stay in the upper 70s tonight. We're looking at a high of 90.